Do you remember when Kingdom Hearts made a rhythm game? No, before that. No, before that too. No, after that one. There we go. This is Kingdom Hearts Rhythm Parade, the only rhythm minigame that isn't hated by a significant portion of the fanbase. And while some might point out that it's unhated because no one knows it exists, I would wager that most of you would have enjoyed Rhythm Parade if only it were released internationally. So without further ado, let's dive into this unremembered melody. Kingdom Hearts Rhythm Parade was the second-to-last minigame made for KH Mobile, releasing on September 10th, 2009. But it's impossible to talk about this game without first addressing Theatrhythm Final Fantasy, the vastly more well-known rhythm game to be made in this art style. I think it would be incorrect to say that Theatrhythm was inspired by KH Rhythm Parade, but the Avatar art style is very distinct. There's a very simple explanation for that. According to a Square Enix press release, the character designer for the Avatar Kingdom of KH Mobile was Monster Octopus, the same artist who worked on the Theatrhythm series. But here's a fun fact, there's a third game that uses this art style, one that is more directly connected to Theatrhythm Final Fantasy, releasing only 1 month earlier. That game is Final Fantasy Airborne Brigade, or whatever name it happens to be going by at the moment. It was the first free-to-play Final Fantasy mobile spin-off, and it's also the first use of the Avatar art style since KH Mobile. This game is, in my opinion, the more likely inspiration for using avatars in Theatrhythm. However, while the avatars in Theatrhythm were redrawn with more detail and in far better quality, the ones in Airborne Brigade seem to have been taken straight from KH Mobile whenever there was any overlap. But enough about Final Fantasy, let's get back to the original Avatar rhythm game. I wish I could say that the gameplay of KH Rhythm Parade is some kind of hidden gem with deep mechanics that were ahead of its time, but that's not the case. The rhythm gameplay is about as standard as it gets. Just hit the targets on the beat. If you miss a note or press the wrong button, you get a bad score and 0 points. If you hit a note a little too early or a little too late, you get a good score and 50 points. If you hit a note on the beat, you'll get an excellent score and 100 points, plus an additional 50 points for every previous excellent you hit in a row. The only other thing you need to consider is the rhythm gauge. It will naturally fill up when you hit goods and excellence, and it will decrease when you miss a note. To clear the level, the gauge needs to be past the blue line at the level's end, indicated by the bar turning red. Every level has 2 difficulty options. Easy mode only has 1 button, and it's very easy. Hard mode adds in the 4 directional arrows, which makes it feel like a real rhythm game. You can only play the hard version of a song after you clear the easy version. On both difficulties, if you clear a level with a high enough score, you will earn a crown to mark your achievement. In addition to the standard level select, there's the challenge mode that would tie into KH Mobile's online rankings. It gives you a set of 3 stages on hard difficulty, with the stages changing each ranking period. Now, let's take a look at the songs that KH Rhythm Parade has to offer. The first level is Destiny Islands, a natural starting point. While all stages have the same gameplay mechanics, each stage also has one of 3 visual styles. Destiny Islands is a battle-type level, which has your custom avatar fight against a Kingdom Hearts character. For the record, the health bars are just for show, and they can't actually go down all the way. However, as you can see, there's no one on the left side of the screen. This is because the Rhythm Parade application would connect to KH Avatar Kingdom to get your avatar data, and I'm emulating it without the ability to connect to a server. As a result, the player's avatar will be conspicuously missing from every level, but it's the best we can do for the time being. The second song is Blast Away Gummy Ship 1, but they dropped the subtitle so it would fit in the graphic. This stage is the first example of a race-type level, where your avatar engages in a foot race with the characters of the world. Since the avatar is missing, all we can see is the puffs of smoke that they leave behind. On top of the missing avatar display, there's the second drawback of emulating the game. The timing is off. The audio I've shown you so far has been manually layered over the gameplay footage, but the in-game music does not line up with the targets. Let me tell you, it's not easy playing a rhythm game when the rhythm doesn't work. That said, the audio delay is so bad that the track is usually a full beat behind the visuals. This means the targets will fall on the beat again, even if it's the wrong beat. Since recording all of this footage, I've gotten myself a Japanese flip phone so I can play it on original hardware. It's so much easier when the notes actually line up, but unless you want the whole video to look like this, I'll stick with showing the emulated version. After two very common KH1 tracks, Monochrome Dreams was definitely a surprise, but not an unwelcome one. This level highlights another one of the issues with emulation. Whenever a new song starts, the wrong instruments are assigned to certain audio channels. This is usually fixed as soon as a sound effect plays, but I actually have sound effects turned off. The developers knew that the game had performance issues on certain models of phones, so they added an option to remove sound effects to increase performance. Without this setting, the emulator wouldn't just be rhythmically misaligned, but virtually unplayable. However, because I have to turn off sound effects to get a functional game, the songs are stuck with the wrong instruments. Usually this isn't very noticeable, but on Monochrome Dreams, the main melody is obviously incorrect. To be honest, I recorded and edited almost this entire video without noticing I forgot to say something about bustin' up on the beach. So here's me saying something about bustin' up on the beach. I love the detail put into all of the KH Mobile minigames, and the Sinister Sundown stage is a good showcase of that. When you miss notes in a battle-type level, the enemy will attack you. Most of the stages use a generic hit effect, but Sinister Sundown uses struggle orbs, which is very charming. Along with Monochrome Dreams from earlier, Hand in Hand is one of two parade-type levels. As you play the song, characters from the world will join your avatar in a parade. This song is also a good opportunity to talk about the MIDI arrangements that KH Mobile uses. On a few tracks, but on Hand in Hand especially, the inherent difference in balance brings out certain instruments that are more subdued in the original PS2 recording. This made me appreciate some of the harmonies that I never really noticed before. Needless to say, I was very excited to learn all of the songs that this game had in its lineup, but I was not prepared for the next level. Of course this game has one winged angel, why not? There's no Sephiroth, just Cloud, but it's intimidating all the same. The arrangement of One Winged Angel is unusual among the KH Mobile tracks in that it has an intro that doesn't loop. Also, now might be a good time to mention that these battle-type stages are literally unwinnable. For the same reason that the app can't call the server to import the player's avatar, finishing a battle-type level will put the game into an infinite load, forcing you to restart the emulator. Working together is described as Twilight Town Battle Song 2 in the level select menu to differentiate it from Sinister Sundown. This is another race-style level, but instead of running, all of the avatars are on skateboards, which looks even more ridiculous on the emulator. This is the last standard level, and while the only notable thing about the stage itself is the Shadow's unique attack animation, Shrouding Dark Cloud is one of the most interesting songs in all of KH Mobile. Out of the 37 tracks used in the 8 minigames, Shrouding Dark Cloud is the only one to have multiple different arrangements. The first version is a straight analog of the KH1 arrangement, and it only plays on the Pair Card Battle Challenge stage on every third day of the week. The Rhythm Parade version changes the balance of the instruments, pulling back on the strings and emphasizing the trumpet rhythm. I'm assuming the change was unintentional since the updated Rhythm Parade arrangement is farther away from the KH1 original. And to be clear, the difference between the two versions has nothing to do with the faulty emulator playback that I showed you in Monochrome Dreams. I ripped the files from both applications and played them back in the same environment, so the difference in balance is native to the audio files. Anyway, the difference between the two versions of Shredding Dark Cloud is a neat little oddity, even if it was probably done in error. The 13th struggle is the secret 10th stage, only unlocked after earning enough crowns from other stages. I really like how the game tries to surprise you. The initial 9 songs exactly fill the level select screen, so it looks like there's no room for a bonus stage. Once the 13th struggle is unlocked, you can simply scroll down the list to access the extra track. It wouldn't be a Kingdom Hearts mobile minigame without some cut content. This arrangement of Traverse Town is present in the game files as music6.mld, though the songs are all listed out of order. I was hoping that I would be able to force the application to load the level like I did with the unused pair card battle cards, but Level 6 is missing a level data file, so there's nothing to load in the first place. However, it seems like the Traverse Town level was cut pretty far into development, since it has the title card, preview icon, and the world's background in the game files. There are also sprites for the Traverse Town Final Fantasy characters. On the subject of avatars and unused content, there are quite a few unused characters and animations beyond the Traverse Town gang. All of the opponents in battle style levels have sprites for walking and cheering that are only needed for characters in race or parade style levels. The set of unused characters also corresponds to the worlds used in battle style stages. This leads me to believe that all stages were originally going to be race or parade style. When battle-style stages were implemented later in development, they chose one character to be your opponent, leaving a bunch of extra characters and animations in the game files. In addition to the 10 stages, or 11 counting Traverse Town, there are 2 more songs used in the menus of Rhythm Parade. And to be honest, neither of them make any sense. The main menu uses Welcome to Wonderland, which... huh? There's no mention of Wonderland anywhere in the game. Every other minigame uses a song related to the background art and theming of the minigame, and if the app doesn't have a strong theme, it falls back on Precious Stars in the Sky. Since the background of Rhythm Parade is just taken from the Avatar Kingdom, I would have expected Merlin's Magical House if they couldn't find something rhythm game related to use. But no, we're in Wonderland now. The level select menu doesn't have any designated music since it plays a preview of the currently selected song. Instead, the game's second menu theme appears on the stage clear screen, which is bizarre. No other minigame has any music for the clear screen, just Rhythm Parade. And instead of using any one of the pre-established victory themes, Rhythm Parade decided that now was the appropriate time to play Precious Stars in the Sky. Why? Even the games that don't bother to respect the Gummy Ship motifs in this track at least have the sense to play it for World Select or some other pre-gameplay screen. Hearing it at the end of a level just feels backwards. And that's everything you need to know about Kingdom Hearts Rhythm Parade. Although the gameplay might be basic for the genre, I can't help but love this little oddity. It clearly wanted to try something new with the Avatar integration, and it gave us some of the neatest MIDI arrangements on the platform. As for where it stands compared to the other KH mobile minigames, I'm going to slot it in at the bottom of A tier. If it had just a few more songs in its library, it might be in the running for my favorite game, but the 10 we got are a solid package. It doesn't have the same originality of the S tier games, but there's a lot more going on here than the tiers below it. If you've been keeping count, you'd know that only 2 minigames remain. Next time, we'll take a look at the very last application added to KH Mobile, and for the finale, we'll circle back to the final launch title. Our next minigame is also the only one to have a proper multiplayer mode. I'll see you there.